Patrick Mahomes is trying to reach GOAT status, going for his third straight Super Bowl win. He's the top of the top. Then there's everybody else. So who's elite in this convo? Dan, you're up first. How many elite quarterbacks are there in the NFL?
Well, I don't use elite, Molly. I'll say 9, though. But the phrasing I use is 9.
What?
The phrasing I
use is 9? 9? Did you just say 9?
This man out his mind. This man hot.
Oh, my God.
9. So the phrasing I use, or the way I describe it, is quarterbacks you win because of. There's a high amount of quarterbacks that teams win with in the NFL, but because of, and it's broken down into 2 different places. There's 9. The 2 guys that were tough to leave off, both Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love. Jordan just got to see a little bit more. I think he's right on that verge. And then Jalen, I just want to see what he looks like this year coming back in with Kellen Moore as his play caller, 3rd offensive quarter in 3 years. Win because of is broken down into 2 separate things. 1, we win the game even though our defense gave up a ton of points, whether it's 26, 28, 30. Like, we find a way to win more often than not because of you. Or we're hurt on offense, we're missing receivers, or, you know, our offensive line's beat up, and we find a way to win the game because of you. Those are the 2 kind of the criteria that they're put into, and I think there's 9 of them.
Good Lord have mercy.
Who's going first?
I'll
Taking
go.
it?
I'll go.
You go. Go ahead.
I'll go Shannon.
Go ahead, Stephen A.
I'll go Shannon. Good Lord. I just need to pray for Orlovsky. I mean, sometimes. And then when it comes to the quarterback position, we have to remember we have an obligation to tell our audience, because, see, I love Dan. I love Dan. We all love Dan and stuff like that. I mean, it's genuine love here. You understand what I'm saying? Some haterade out there for him. They ain't got no business doing that, but we got love for him. But then he has moments like this. And we have to remind it that Dan has a very soft spot when it comes to quarterbacks. He's not objective. He's not objective.
Does.
Dan wants to sprinkle roses and any walkway that quarterbacks walk through. So, I mean, this is unbelievable. 9 great quarterbacks.
So
I need to see the list again. Can we put the list back up again?
Who do you want to take off?
Patrick, listen, excuse me.
Yeah, let's look at it. Let me tell
you what I want to put on. I'm going to sit up there and I'm going to put on Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to put a 2-time league MVP in Lamar Jackson. We can't ignore the stud that is Josh Allen, because when he's not going against Mahomes or Burrow, he'll beat up on everybody else, okay? And I'm going to put Aaron Rodgers in there as just resume. Matthew Stafford is great. That's your brother. I know how much you love him. And he's a Super Bowl champion, and I know he can ball. But damn it, he was in Detroit for years. Okay, don't get me started with that.
Yeah, that's on Detroit. That's not on Matthew Stafford.
That's not on him, but he was a part of it. He was a part of it, though. That's on Detroit.
He did have Calvin Johnson, though.
But that's true.
Okay, but Shannon, come on.
Come on now. He did. All right. Brock Purdy, you just got onto the scene. I need longevity. C.J. Stroud is a stud, but I need longevity. I need to see you do it again. I need to see you do it. No one-hit wonders on here.
But really, the only issue, Dan, really, that I would say is Brock Purdy. I'm not sure about. I know that he gets it done, but I don't know if he really has.
I'm not putting no 8 quarterbacks up there.
He has that talent. Everyone else on there. Absolutely.
No. Can I see that list again?
So you're not putting Joe Burrow up there, Stephen?
I said Joe Burrow. I said Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Everybody else got something to prove.
Brock Purdy.
No, you got something to prove.
NFC Championship game. And then the Super Bowl, he was sensational in the Super Bowl, and he's taken Kyle Shanahan's offense.
Stop 1 second, Dan.
Stop that.
Stop 1 second, Dan. All I'm saying is this. I'm not saying they haven't shown they can be elite. But to qualify and classify them as elite, I need a lengthier resume. That's all I'm saying. There's a difference. Go ahead, Shannon.
Dan, stop this. Brock Purdy was not sensational in the Super Bowl. He played okay, but he wasn't sensational. He was not. And there's never been 9 elite quarterbacks in the NFL. Never, ever, ever. And we're not, listen, at some point in time, you can still remain friends with these guys and still tell the truth. I got 4. I got Mahomes, Lamar, Burrow, and Josh Allen. Aaron Rodgers but I'm going to need to see it, Stephen A. And you said I'm going to put him in there because of his resume. But I'm going to need to see him get back to the level. I look at it, and Dan, you gave a lot of good points. I want to see a guy that can win the game because and not rely on other aspects. Okay, great, outstanding defense. I look at a guy, if we don't have a running game that day, I need Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I need Joe Burrow. I need Patrick Mahomes. I need Josh Allen to go win the game. And, bro, you might get 20 yards rushing. That's all I got for you today. I might need you to outgun somebody. I believe the 4 guys that I named can go do that. Now, I know Aaron Rodgers once upon a time, but he is a lot older, and he's coming off a significant injury. So that's the only reason that I left him off was because of the significant injury and the age, and I haven't seen him play of the year. But and I'm like Stephen A. in this aspect. I'm going to need to see more than 1 year. I've seen a lot of guys do something great for 1 year. But I need to see a more extensive body of work. C.J. Stroud, he's definitely trending in the right direction. He's a stock I would purchase. Jordan Love, he's a stock I would purchase. But, man, you got to stop this notion talking about 9 elite quarterbacks. There's never, ever been 9 elite quarterbacks at any juncture in the NFL in the 100-plus year history. Never, ever.
Well, my pushback to you, Shannon, would be I'm of the belief that I think this is the most talented the quarterback position has been, top to bottom, that the NFL has ever had. Now, I'm only 41 years old, so I'm not going to talk about what the quarterbacks were all like in 1970 because I wasn't around watching it then. But I do think that we have more talented quarterbacks, physically talented quarterbacks, from number 1 to number 20 than we've ever had in the NFL. That's just because the elite level of the group. Yeah. You leaving out Rodgers because of his age and injury, that's fine. I look at it differently. I have incredibly high expectations for Rodgers this year. The 1 year with C.J. Stroud, I think he's firmly planted into that group already. I just watched the game. Like, my point with the C.J. thing is this. This wasn't an easy thing for C.J. to accomplish last year. Houston stunk running the ball on first down. 2, C.J. did a lot of his damage on the hardest down to do it on third down. But in the AFC Championship, they didn't run it well, and he didn't get it done. Lamar, I don't pin that on Lamar.
Lamar has a body of work. You remember when he didn't have Christian McCaffrey? You remember when he didn't have Debo? Do you remember he didn't have Trent Williams? How did he look?
But Shannon, I'm aware, first of all.
No,
you constantly go back to that. You constantly go back to that. There's value in it, but this context matters. The Minnesota game, when he was without a couple of those guys, he did not play well, missed a couple aggressive throws, and I believe he had concussion protocol that week. The Cleveland game, weather played a little bit of a factor. He leads them down the field, and they missed the field goal. The context of this has to matter. It can't just
But hold on. The other team wasn't playing in a phone booth. It was raining on them too. I mean, sometimes you have seen it. I've seen it rain over here and not be raining over there. But in Cleveland that day, it was raining on the Browns too. It wasn't just raining on Brock Purdy and the San Francisco offense. And the next week, when he didn't have those guys, how did they look? I just believe, and I agree with you, Dan, I believe quarterbacks 1 through 20 are a lot better than in years past because they eat better, they train, they get better coaching. Sure. There's a lot of things in this thing called evolution.
Sure.
Yes, I will concede that with you. But we just arbitrarily, now we're just anybody that has a good year, one good year, they're elite. Somebody has a great game, he's elite. Nah, bro, I'm going to need a more extensive body of work. I'm going to need to see a more extensive resume before I start throwing that title around.
I think what CJ did last year firmly plants him in that, and I'm not taking Rodgers out like
time out.
Dan, I like your list. I got to be honest with you. Just Brock Purdy, I'm not certain on. Even Matthew Stafford, I'd keep in there as well.
Well, I don't like the damn list. I mean, I don't think it should be 9. I think it should be 4. But let me say this to you, Orlovsky. There's never been a situation in NFL history where some dude played lights out, and the next year they stunk up the joint. That's never happened.
Without injury?
That's never happened. They've fallen off precipitously. That's never happened. I'm saying to you, I'm not questioning C.J. Stroud's ability, and I certainly believe in the brother.
No.
But he still got to prove it. Brock Purdy can ball, and he deserves the praise. He still got to prove more.
Yeah, I don't
finished.
Without injury, Stephen A., I don't remember a guy being this good this early and falling off without injury.
But,
Jay, last
but
word.
Dio, and the same thing, Molly, we had Coach Ryan, D'Amico Ryans, we were doing a tour for Nightcap. And I said, what you had last year, you had a rookie head coach, you had a rookie quarterback. The expectations last year versus the expectations this year. You and I both know, Dio, having played the game, and Stephen A., you covered it for 2.5 decades. Expectations. There were not the expectations on C.J. Stroud. Yes, he played well, but nobody expected this. D'Amico Ryans coached well, but nobody was expecting this. Now you've set a level of expectations.
And you got to meet it.
Can you meet or exceed those expectations?
Fair.
That's what Joe Burrow consistently does. That's what Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen, year in and year out. We have an expectation level, and they meet them, even if they don't surpass them in the postseason.
Hey, fellas, Jalen Hurts, outstanding year, MVP candidate, goes to the Super Bowl. Next year, more than doubles his interceptions. Obviously fell off completion percentage and all of this other stuff. Philadelphia Eagles lose 5 of their last 6 regular season games, and in the first round of the playoffs to Tampa Bay. It's a precipitous drop-off. Wasn't what you were the year before. All I'm trying to say is we're not questioning his ability, what the potential is, but when you are considered elite, there has to be a length of a resume attached to your name that validates that. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's fair. That's fair. There is an element
fair here. Why you always talk about we're fair? Oh, that's fair. That's fair. We're always fair.
I don't know. I'm putting C.J. Stroud in there. I don't care if he's got 1 year. That was an unreal year.
I know.
There is a little foreshadowing attached to C.J. being in that group. 100%. That's fair.
But you're foreshadowing with a lot of people.
Okay. Can you take it down
Usually
a
it's
notch,
right.
please? I'm right here. It's a little loud.
Well, I'm talking to him. I really was
He can
talking
hear
to
you,
you.
too.
Well, it's nice to know that you can hear us. I mean, I know you were just preoccupied with the mirror and some food.